Greetings, my fellow warriors. Today we're going to talk about the most important ab exercise that you may not be doing. And trust me, when you incorporate it, you'll take your performance to a whole different level. And the exercise is the posterior pelvis tilt. So the only ab exercise that you pretty much will be needing if you have to pick one exercise for the rest of your life is the posterior pelvis tilt. And once you make sure that your posterior pelvis is tilt, that means you make sure that you shorten the distance in between your rib cage and your bottom of your pelvis. You put the core or the abs, if you wanna call it those. I mean, just take in consideration the front part of it to the shortest distance and maintaining that while managing the compression of the spine. So I'm gonna go on the bar and show you guys how that posterior pelvis tilt is being done properly. So whether it's some gymnastic work or calisthenics work, anything that will be involving like a sturdy core, doing this and mastering this skill would definitely take you the distances. And we're gonna start with the hanging leg raises, and that's another thing that a lot of people don't do. Once they perform the hanging leg raises, they take out of equation that person's posterior pelvis tilt that need to be maintained at all time for optimal performance. And then we're gonna transfer that to the deep holds leg raises as well. And the lighter variation will be the knee raises, and then finish on the floor with the posterior pelvis tilt that still needs to be maintained when you're doing the plank. When you're doing the plank. That's why you hear people telling you don't sag your lower back. That's pretty much telling you to engage your core in the posterior pelvis tilt manner. So with that being said, let's go on top and I'll show you how it's being done. So here I'm gonna grab the bar and we're gonna get the leg raise. I will just make sure, I can go for a V raise, but I will not focus on the V raise. I will focus mostly on the pelvis tilt, because all the V raise in the world will be unnecessary if you don't manage to shorten that distance first before you go for that leg lift. So any leg lift exercise should be preceded by the posterior pelvis tilt. Once you get that pelvis tilt, now you can follow up with the leg lift. Not until then. And last but not least, when you come down, you don't want to let go of that pelvis tilt. Ideally, maintaining that pelvis tilt will be the lower end of the bottom of your leg raise. Extending back down will not do it properly. So what I call the pelvis posterior tilt will be tucking your hips inside, and this is the interior pelvis tilt. So always tuck in before you raise. So with the bar here, pelvis posterior tilt will be here. So pretty much you put yourself in a hanging hollow body, which is a good ab exercise as well that you can master on the floor to learn how to compress your spine and maintain that core in the optimal tension. So any beginning of the exercise will start with this and leg lift. Come down to bottom there and not there. Always here, leg lift, here, leg lift, here. And you will see that it's hard for you to get a lot of momentum, because from here it's easy to get a lot of momentum and give you the impression that you can go that high. With that pelvis tilt here, you will have to generate from a contracting position. So come on this side, I'm going to show again the difference between interior and posterior. Here, anterior, contract, posterior, anterior, posterior, lift, down, lift, down, and not here. So that's how it's done on the bar. We're gonna go on the deep station and show you how it's done. So on the deep station, pretty much the same. Here, anterior, relax, which we don't want. Posterior, here. So even on the deep hold, You want to make sure that you get a habit of staying this way, and then lift right there, lift right there, and not this. This, you don't want to do that. Tilt there, up, down, up, down. You'll feel the bone much more. And a lot of time as well, people are not strong enough to have a sturdy and ideal front hold on the dip, that when the leg lifts, I do observe that as well with me when I get tired. That's why I believe, as much as the dip front hold leg lift is much easier than the hanging for people who cannot hang, the ideal dip front hold leg lift turn out to be hard, because you will have to depress your spine, your shoulder blade, to have this line ideal. You don't want to be sagging outward. So people who don't have the upper body strength to do it properly tend to have it here, and the lift, you see how much discrepancy I have my butt with my arm. Ideally, you want to be doing the leg lift like this right there, as opposed to like this. You want to be here like this, as opposed to, even with the posterior tilt here, and you do this, you're not really putting the core under optimal tension. You want to have your arms aligned with the length of your body, and while you maintain that in the position, now you can leg lift. For those who cannot, you could still do this, and then just shorten the leverage and do the knee raises. That will help you to still maintain your the alignment proper, to be able to perform the exercise properly and make gain faster. Because trust me, if you skip the steps and have a poor form, you will have poor results. And I know it's hard sometimes. Like I said, we are humans. Even I get taken to the dark side of not being strict with the form sometimes. But over the years, I've corrected some of the stuff that I've been lying to myself doing properly, and I can see that the progress has been tremendous once I've decided to make adjustment. So with this being said, we're gonna take it to the floor, and I'm gonna show you how the plank is done as well with the idea of the same tilt. So regular plank will be performed. A lot of people will see people sagging the back. This is something you don't want to do. The posterior tilt will require you to bring this tight. Relax, no good. Tight. Compress the spine and have like a really tight core and engage right there. So that's about it. That's how you should be aiming to perform the plank. Sagging, no good. Bring it inside, ideal. The same thing you want to have here. Sagging is not good. Always bring it inside. Sagging, nope. Bring it inside. So that's how pretty much you want to be performing the plank. And then, speaking of whole body that I mentioned before, this is how it's done as well. You want to make sure that you get rid of the gap that you have on the lower back. So bringing both together again, like I said, that means point your toes, lift up, compress as much as you can, and the gap is being rid of. And that's pretty much your whole body that you want to have. You could extend your arms to have that good butt shape, or you could have it here, as long as you compress as hard as possible and get rid of the gap that you have in the back. So people with big butts, of course, will tend to have a harder time having that low, that low whole body. With a big butt,
to have the low hollow body, you will have to really have that top strength to compress as really high as possible, so that your leg will be still on the floor. Like I'll show you the example here. It's easy for me to bring my leg high, and then I can have that hollow body to get rid of my butt. But to have that really low one, I'll have to bring my upper body really high, and it's a lot more work. So people, for somebody like me will have, with a big butt, will have a harder time having that clean whole body, unless I put a lot of work on compressing like the top part of my motion really hard, which is good because the more you work, the stronger you get. So like I said, it's gonna be up to you to increase the level of difficulty of your whole body. So that being said, we're gonna cut short the video right here. The posterior pelvis tilt is pretty much, I think, the only ab exercise that you should be know how to perform. And whether it's pull up, you want to have a clean, straight pull up without good compression learn, and train your body to maintain that tightness. You will have a better control of your lower body and prevent it from swinging all over the place once you're doing the pull up, once you're doing the muscle up. Whenever you're doing a dips, have that whole body as well will help you preventing from swing, because any swing lets you bleed some power, and when you bleed power, that means less repetition and less on the quality of the set. What else was I gonna say? If you get to the most advanced exercises like front lever or what you call them, or the planche, still need to have that tight whole body for that clean and crisp looking movement that everybody will be wowed by. So I would suggest you, if you were not aware of spending time on mastering that whole body, from now on, start working on it and you will see the difference. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Hopefully it was pretty informative and will help you guys taking your exercise to the next level. That being said, I'm out. Everything is and will always be beast mode the make animal way. Salute.